Hello, everyone, and welcome to the workshop. Please just type in the chat that you can hear me okay, and we will get started. I'm here with Anthony Seri from Success for Your Songs.
How's it going? Good to be with you, Kev.
Yes, you too. And Anthony is right now, tell him what city you're in.
I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Okay, good. And I'm in Phoenix. Sorry, what am I saying?
I was like, wow, you're right here.
Yeah, it's Scottsdale made me think of last time I was in Phoenix. I'm in San Diego, which is actually fairly close.
Yeah. It's about a 6 hours,
6-hour drive or
something like that. Yeah.
Good. And we have about 240 people registered, which is a little small for our webinars, but it's a good crowd. And we have almost about 60 people, here right now, which is pretty normal. Some people figure they'll watch the replay, but you often do get a lot more out of attending live.
Mm-hmm.
And we usually have lots of extra things to share when we go with you live. But there will be a replay if anybody wants to watch it again. And tonight is song critiques. And a couple things before we start that, when we're listening to songs to critique, and I want you, as everybody here, I want you to think of this as listeners. We're not listening for great recordings, and we're not listening for a great performance of the instruments or the vocals. That's not what we're listening to. So you have to learn to listen beyond that stuff. Some people have trouble with that. They're like, well, the recording's terrible. It's like, yeah, but we're listening to the song, not how good the recording or the mix is, or how great the people are playing their instruments. So think about it that way, and it's going to help you really identify the components of the song as separate from the performance and the mix and the recording, so that you can really start to differentiate the two. They're very different things, and being a little more meticulous about the way you listen to things can really help you to craft your songs better, because you can fine tune it instead of hearing everything just as one big mush of music. You can start to focus in on, at this point, just the song instead of the recording, but then later, just the melody instead of the melody with the lyrics, and then maybe just the lyrics, and then maybe just the chords, and you really fine tune just the song structure, things like that. The other thing, we're probably not going to play we had a lot of people submit songs, and we didn't get to everybody, but we do have a really good handful of songs we're going to get through tonight. And I sent most people emails that we're going to share your songs, and we're probably not going to play the whole song. We'll play maybe 2/3 of it, and then jump into some critiques which is another thing I wanted to mention. When we critique a song, it's not about, the helpful part about it is not us telling you how great you are. And it's not to say that your songs are not really good. We've had really great songs being submitted, and we will talk about the good things about it. But if we just talked about that, it wouldn't really help you that much. So we're going to talk about things that you might not have thought of that you could have applied to your song. And if you're still editing the song, if it's not finished, you can apply them right now. If you're completely done editing your song, it's recorded, final product, sometimes it's a little hard to take the advice on something you feel emotionally complete with and apply it to that song. But what you can do is you can apply it to your next song, the concepts that we'll talk about. And so those are some of the things to think about. And a last thought is that I want to encourage everybody to stay around until the end, because we have some really cool free stuff that we wanted to give you, but we're not doing it until the end. So stick with us to the end, and we'll get to that as well. And so, Anthony, you have anything to add?
No, I don't think so. Just looking forward to diving in. And I did just notice on my chat, I know we asked people if they can hear us. I haven't seen any new responses coming in the chat saying so. Do you see that on your end?
Yeah, earlier on I heard some say yes. I can hear you guys.
Okay.
So it seems okay.
Because I tried typing something in, but I think the chat just wasn't working for me then. Okay.
Okay, good. So, and we want to ask, if we can, some of the songwriters to, there's a little hand icon on the right-hand side that says speak, and you can press that if you want to speak. So let's just reserve this right now for just the songwriters who we're going to present. And the first one is Miriam Lieberman, and we have your song Last Night. And if you want to raise your hand, we could be, it would be possible for us to bring you in with us, and we could discuss it with you a little bit as well. And so I'm going to play the song and pull up the lyric sheet. I'll pull up the lyric sheet first.
This is a song called Last Night. It's also kind of new, and it's about riding a bicycle across the beach in Broome with a dog. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, so let's bring y'all back now, and we're going to discuss this a little bit. We got a couple things we could discuss with this. Anthony, did you want to start?
Yeah, actually, I think there was a lot of good stuff going on with this song. A couple things that jumped out at me right away was the melody. I thought was pretty strong. Um, and not only that, but the changes that were happening in the melody. Um, like first of all, within the verse, I thought worked. And then also when it went to the different sections, I thought that change in melody worked well. Also, like it was easy to know when you were in one section to the next. Um, so I thought that was strong melodically. And the song structure worked also. I mean, you didn't feel lost in the song. You feel like and part of that was because of the differentiation in the melodies, like I was talking about. But I think it was easy to know where you were in the song, so that made sense to me as well. Um, how did you feel about it melodically? Did you agree or?
Yeah. I think the thing that really made the difference was, in the verse or in the A section, the first section, it rhythms were going by at a certain pace. It sounded like eighth notes, and then when we get to the B section, all of a sudden we have quarter notes, so they're longer notes. They're twice as long. So changing the note durations from section to section, that's a technique that is really helpful. And as we talk about these techniques, make notes of them because these are things you can try with your own song. So you have two sections of a song. One of the section you use longer notes than the other, and it helps give variety to your sections so it doesn't all sound monotonous. So I think that was really good technique.
Yeah, I also think lyrically there was some cool stuff happening. Also, I liked some of the imagery that was happening in the song. Like some of the lines, like "I'm drinking in the orange sky," were cool. Uh, like "riding on the moon" is a good line, just for that kind of stuff. Really brings people in. There were a couple spots where maybe it was more cliche. There was a line when there's nothing standing in your way. But I mean, I thought it was strong enough otherwise that like it's okay to let some of those in. A lot of times you just see all general language throughout a song. I think it's okay to let some slip in when you do have otherwise strong imagery happening. So I think a lot of what was happening lyrically made a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, there's a lot of good metaphors in here, nice imagery, and you're right. Sometimes I work so much on getting good imagery that I forget that it's okay to use a line that doesn't have any once in a while.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes a good thing, actually.
I think sometimes too, like if you use imagery, if you're setting it up well, then you can use more general language to kind of explain what you meant by the detailed imagery. You can do like, one and then the other, like kind of go back and forth, that kind of thing. That could be a technique that works. But it's just when you're just saying what you feel and not describing it at all is when I think there starts to be a disconnect.
Right. Yeah. So the descriptiveness and the painting a picture with words is really good. But
Yeah.
Going back and forth with, making sure that whatever metaphors you're using are explained somewhere can be really helpful. There's a couple points about the lyrics right here where you say, "I get closer to you." These are just things to think about with editing this. Nowhere in the song moving ahead do you explain who you is. So I would think you could write an entirely new another verse that would be related to whoever that person is that you're getting closer to, because it's not explained in the song. So if you're going to use a pronoun like you want to somewhere direct people to, who that person was and what's going on with them. Now, if you don't, if you realize, well, that you're right, there's no person in the song at all, and there shouldn't be, then just change the rhyme, get something else to rhyme with moon, getting closer to June, it's getting closer to the summer month, or anything like that might help if you don't want a person in there. And then, so that was one thing I noticed. The other thing I thought with the lyrics that you could do, you mentioned at the beginning when you're speaking on the video that this is about riding a bicycle, and you have pushing my pedals in the first verse. It would be really nice if you had something related to a bicycle in each verse. Like maybe you could have something about the handlebars and a line in the next verse down here, or maybe something about the wheels, or the basket. And so if you had, more verses, if you had another one, you could put a line in for each about the bicycle, because that's the one thing that's not really, if you want it to be clear that it's about a bicycle ride, pushing the pedals might not be enough for people to really get what's going on. Unless you said, instead of last night, here's another way to do it. Just completely change the title. So you might not want to do this, but it could work. My bike. You replace last night with my bike every time it shows up. My bike here, and then you got my bike like riding on the moon. And then my bike here. So that's another way to do it, just to get it clear that you're talking about a bicycle ride. So those are 3 different ways to do it. Either have, or 2 different ways. Either have more images about the bike, more details about the bike, or literally just type in my bike and change your title to
That's such a great simple fix in this case, because like you still have the long I rhyme,
Exactly.
and same amount of syllables. And it's true, like if you find yourself having to explain what the song is about before you're playing it live, you might want to think about, when people listen to this song when it's recorded, they're not going to have that opportunity to hear that explanation from you. So you want to think about putting that stuff in the song. I think Kevin's simple fix here is pretty effective.
And Karen says the second, that's good. Karen says the second verse mentioned wheels. So that's a good point. Let me see where that is. Okay. An old dog chasing, she's chasing my wheels. Okay, so you do have it in there. But it did feel like if I didn't hear that explanation at the beginning and I just had chasing wheels and pushing pedals, it might not be enough to let me realize that you're on a bicycle ride. So you might want to consider, giving it a little bit more if you want that to be very apparent. The only other thing I had, I like what you did with the chords. I actually wrote this out, was, your chord progressions. I'll just type this up above. It's coming out in weird. Try this again. Put it down here and see. I'm getting one bigger than the other. So anyway, let's see. 16. So here's your chord progressions. You got the A section is C for one measure and F and G for a second measure. And then your B section, still using chords from the key of C, but you switch to, the 6th chord A minor, and the F again, and then the C again. But the cool thing is not only do you have one new chord, is that you're changing from a 2-bar chord progression to a 4-bar chord progression, and you're changing the duration of all the chords. So you still have 3 chords. You have one different one. But the thing that really makes it work is you're changing the durations. If you had this and it was like the same, if you had it something like this, where A minor and F for one measure, and then C for one measure, probably wouldn't work as well. And even worse would have been like if you had it like this, where C was first, because that would be too much similar to the A section. And so I think what you did was really good in terms of adding one new chord, switching the order around, but then changing the durations. And that's something we forget what we can do. We only have 7 chords in a key if we're not mixing in any from outside of the key. But what we can do to combine them in different ways that really helps give us a lot more to do with them is just change how long they last.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Okay, so I think we better jump to Miriam. I hope you like that. I don't see anybody putting their hands up, so maybe you weren't here to hear this, but hopefully you were. I'm going to grab the next link.
stones, broken hearts and bones. And the truth be told, we might not make it through the night. Both young and old, it's the pain we hold. It's so hard to shoulder. Please, Lord, help me get it right. Now I watch her cry for the falling sky, and the crumbling sign, and I fear we're losing ground. With hopes so high, and eyes so wide, on the highest climb. It's no wonder it feels so far when we falter, but the dust will clear, the string and queer being unfolded. The wheel will spin, every shade of skin will be golden. Shake, Athena will unseat the throne. The seeds are sown, behold how tightly we are woven.
You want to start, Anthony?
I did like the arrangement. I thought it was a cool stuff going on with the instrumentation. I did find it sort of the opposite comment of what I had on the last song. Was I did find it harder to know where I was in the song. I found the sections not to be as clear. And I think when that happens, it can make the song feel long. I mean, we weren't listening to the whole thing here, but it can make it feel like it's going on because you don't have that change happening from section to section. Felt like the rhythm of the melodies and the rhythm and the pitch were staying the same throughout the sections. So that's just something to consider. How can you make one section really feel different from another, I think is an important thing to think about when you're writing something.
That's good, yeah. Yeah, because with songs, you have the same tempo. You're usually in the same key from section to section. So you have enough going on. It's the same groove with the rhythms. So you have enough going on that's similar. Mm-hmm. So there's plenty of room to make things different between sections so that it doesn't get monotonous. I thought the song had really good poetic story. I liked following the lyrics. So I think you're a good story writer, John. The thing, like what Anthony just mentioned, the the chorus, it sounded really similar to the verse. It was the same. Here's a couple things you could do. You could change the start point of your phrases so they're not starting the same beat of the measure that your verses start on for the chorus. Or you could change the rhythms. So it's not, if you have the certain pacing of your words for one section, the next section either hold out longer notes or have a faster, more rapid pacing of the words. Another thing you could do is the pitch. You could raise the pitch higher. That's often done on choruses. And, you could play around with those three things. The start point of your phrases, how fast the rhythms are going with your phrases, or the general pitch area. And I would just take the chorus probably up. Sometimes taking the verse down in pitch is better if you're hitting the ceiling with your range. The other thing, I'm getting a couple of people saying no sound. Can't hear it at all now. You're talking about the cannot hear commentary.
Is anybody else can
everybody hear us talking? And I'm going to
put it in the chat.
I can hear. Okay, so somebody can. One other thing about this with the chorus that I wanted to point out is that a little bit of simplicity can go a long way. Let me show you what I mean. So if you here's your chorus. Now just look. If I didn't even read the words, just looking at this and comparing it to the verses, I would immediately know that your chorus is too wordy. Because choruses are meant for one thing. A chorus is a group of people sing. The definition of a chorus is a group of people singing together. So the chorus section of your song is the part where people can easily do that. And if you have this many words, that's going to be impossible unless they really memorized your song and they've heard it a bunch of times. It's going to be really hard if you get a group of people singing this together. You could do something like this. We're woven. I mean, that's the hook, right? That's what you want people to hear. You don't have any repetition of it. You could take that hook, we are woven, have it in there twice, and then take something else from the chorus. Let me see, maybe that rhymes. So thrown and full, that kind of rhymes. Might be hard to extract a rhyme from this, but if you did like something like this.
And just by you doing that, you could start to see, you could see the difference already without even hearing what it would sound like.
Yeah,
so
without even hearing, that looks like that's probably a chorus. So we're woven, straight and queer will be enfolded. We're woven, Athena will unseat the throne. Maybe get something to rhyme with enfolded. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but just look up a rhyming dictionary, get a rhyme. And those might not be the lines that you want in here. You might want some other line from what you already have or create something new. But then you can take we are woven and let it stand out on its own as a catchy hook and maybe sing it, stretch out the words possibly, and then leave space between that and the next line. Now this, I could see a group of people being able to sing to that by the time they hear the second chorus. And by the third chorus, the whole group could all know it. And that's what you want for a catchy chorus. So watch out for wordiness with choruses. If there are things in here you really want to say them in another verse or in the bridge. So don't throw it away. Take these good ideas you have, just put them someplace else where a wordy section is appropriate and make your chorus do its job. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, and another simple thing that a lot of times can help a chorus stand out if you're not sure otherwise. I mean, I know, Kevin, you mentioned starting on a different beat or something like that. Probably the most common one is just lifting the pitch of the chorus. Have the chorus be the part of your song that's clearly in the highest part of your range. And then, just by contrast, the rest of the sections will sound different. And then when you start to make other moves in addition to that, it'll really stand out a lot.
Yeah, great. Okay, so we have so many songs to get through. We're probably not going to get through all of them, so I want to keep moving ahead. We might be talking a little bit fast. Here's the next link.
This is Jennifer Hawley with Little Bird.
Just like that faded rose in the song about Delta Dawn, you felt like bleached old bones with nothing left to show. For all those years you loved us so, I didn't even see you. You were dealing with life's blow. Broken your wing, little bird, you've broken your wing. You're trying to fly, can't reach the sky. Thought you had it all in hand, a master of your world. Didn't know your struggle just to make a casserole. Feeding all your children you could manage just to hold. A glass of wine to get you through, the doctor told you so. I can't reach the sky. Trying hard now, reach the sky now. You can make it through. Trying has come around just like it always does. It leaves me feeling kind of blue, painted pastel, nothing new. I like to think I've grown up, I've learned a thing or two, but in the end I hope I get to love someone like you. I can't reach the sky. Little bird, little bird.
Nice melodies, all the way around. It's pretty nice. I really like the atmospheric type of like ballad vibe. I think it's fitting to the topic too. It's the topic. The melodies seem to match the meaning of the song very well.
Yeah, the arrangement worked for this, kind of tying into what you were saying. Just that simplicity of the guitar and the shaker. And that voice that went along with it, I think, worked well. Even if this isn't, what the final version will be, I think instrumentation-wise, that could work maybe with a couple more things in the chorus or something, just to make that stand out a little bit more. But I think it made sense for what this song was.
Yeah, great. I agree. And a couple things. Another thing I really liked was I like your use of modal interchange chords. You know, you're in the key of C major or A minor. You know, depending on how you look at it. You know, with this E7 chord, that would be the, you know, the optional dominant seventh chord in a minor key. And then you go through three modal interchange chords. You have the 4 chord, and then you have the 4 minor chord. It's taken from the parallel minor key. And that's a nice effect. You know, the Beatles used to do that a lot. They'd go from the 4 major chord to the 4 minor. And it's common in a lot of other songs too. But you also grab down here, you've got the flat 6 and the flat 7 chord from, you know, the parallel minor key. If you're thinking of this in the key of C major, that's what I'm looking at it that way. So if these were all chords in the key of C major, then the F minor would be taken from the key of C minor. And the A flat major and the B flat major would also be taken from the key of C minor. So it's a great way to, you know, give more variety to your, you know, you get 7 chords in a key, and there's a couple chord families you can draw from commonly to give you more chords, and one of them is these modal interchange chords. So you've got your major key, even if you're in a relative minor, if you're in A minor, you can think about it as kind of being in C major because they use the same chords. And then if you're in C major, what are the chords in C minor? And you can borrow some of those. And that's what you've done here. You've got the flat 6 and the flat 7 chord, the A flat and the B flat major chords. And then you've got the 4 minor chord. And that was really cool.
Just to interrupt you for a sec, Kev, I think Jen just joined us. Are you there, Jen?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Oh, great. I think when you tried to put me online, I dropped off to another screen, but I'm back now.
No worries.
Can you turn on your video? Click your video icon there. You should be able to see a video icon.
Share. Hang on.
We finally got somebody to join us.
Yeah.
That's the video on. Great. Got it.
Hey, there you are.
Oh, there you are. What part of the world are you from?
I'm in Melbourne, Australia.
Melbourne. Great. Yeah, I've taught a lot of students online, you know, in Melbourne.
Oh, great.
Anything that you think we should know about the song now that we've heard it?
Yeah, well, it's a hard one to write. It's about my mum who passed away at the end of last year, who was a 70s kind of mum and was always very fragile, had a lot of mental health issues. And so I guess it's like a prayer to my mum, little bird, you've broken your wing, you're trying to fly. It's like maybe she'll find some peace now. So it's kind of a deep subject for me. But, you know, interesting to know how that would translate to somebody who didn't know what it was about.
Right. As far as well, I mean, that specifically obviously isn't in the song. Do you want that to come through more?
No, I don't want to spell it out.
Okay.
I think I want people to have their own relationship with it.
Okay.
That's
so
good. You know, there's a concept used a lot in, you know, with lyric writers, is that you want to take the universe or take the personal situation and make it into something universal that can apply to everybody. And I think that's what you did really well here, was you took something personal and you don't necessarily need to stick with that exact thing when you're writing a song, even though for you it may always be, but you're opening it up for others to relate to their specific situations, because even though you're using a lot of nice imagery, you're keeping it general enough that it can relate to other people as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think you kind of did what I was mentioning at the last song maybe could have done, which was you had the pitch of the chorus came up. It was very clear, you know, when we were in your chorus. And I think that's an important thing. And it was kind of good to see this against that last song, because I was just talking about, you know, that as an option. And now we can see that that's something that you've done here. And I think it was effective in that way. So I'd like to see that happen here. The only thing I would say, maybe going from your chorus to your bridge, I got less of a change in the as far as contrast goes, and almost your bridge to me almost felt like an extension of the chorus. Like a lot of what was happening musically felt the same. If you want that to feel more like a different section, I think there's probably rhythmic changes in the melody to be made, or maybe pitch stuff there as well, because the chords obviously are different. But maybe the way you're playing them was similar too. I don't remember that part. But I think maybe that bridge could stand out a little bit more. But verse to chorus, I think you did that really well.
Yeah, that was one of my comments too. Your bridge, yeah, it sounded too similar to earlier material. So changing the melody on that, possibly raising the pitch, possibly just rephrasing things, maybe having like real short lines that repeat. You could chop it up.
I've been stuck on the bridge. It's been really hard. It was only when I had the opportunity to submit this song that I went, okay, I just turned on the studio at home and went, I'm just going to write a bridge so I can submit it. So that I just sort of threw together at the last moment.
Let that be a lesson for songwriters out there. Never shortcut your editing. There's one other thing that I thought you might want to try. So, little bird, you've broken your wing. Little bird, you've broken your wing. You're trying to fly, can't reach the sky. Little bird, you've broken your wing. I think might help. If you have this hook repeated twice, and then you got another line, and then you repeat it a third time, but slightly differently. Maybe go to a G major chord, the dominant chord for the C, and sing it a little differently so that it resolves. You might want to play around with that.
Okay, thanks.
So actually, I'm curious now that you said that. So did you have this song finished just as like a verse, chorus song? And then you said, oh, I should make it longer just for when they critique it? Or like, what was the thought process there? I'm just curious.
I've been trying to finish it, and I knew it would.
Okay.
Yeah, and I had my idea for the end, which we didn't get to in the recording, with the floaty lyrics and stuff. But I knew there was a missing bridge, so okay. I couldn't move forward and make a demo of it, and then invite my friends to come and play on it and put in harmonies and things until I get the bridge happening. So I just didn't know what to do with it.
Okay. I didn't know if maybe you considered this just a verse, chorus. In that case, it just would have been kind of short, I think. So I was just curious about that. I mean, what you have here is a very common song structure, so that will totally work.
Okay, so we're going to move on because we have a lot to go through. And I'm going to...
Thanks, Jen.
Because they rock, been rocking all their lives. Because they rock, been rocking all their lives. Married to the guitar longer than married to the wives. There was a time I danced rock around the clock. Now I find it hard to hop around the block. But aches and pains I can leave them at the door. Just when the water's rocking, I'm hopping on the floor because they rock. Been rocking all their lives. Because they rock. Been rocking all their lives. Married to the guitar longer than married to the wives. The old and not so old dusting off the tunes. Stairway to heaven on a Wednesday afternoons. When they go to sleep at night, tucked up in the beds, there's nothing but rock and roll pounding in the heads. Cause they rock. Been rocking all their lives. Because they rock, been rocking all their lives. Married to the guitar, longer than married to the wives. Because they rock. Been rocking all their lives. Because they rock. Been rocking all their lives. Married to the guitar longer than married to the wives. Because they rock. Been rocking all their lives. Because they rock. Been rocking all their lives. Married to the guitar longer than married to the wives. Married to the guitar, longer than married to the wife.
And we're going to talk a little bit about it now. Anthony, what do you think? What do you got to say about this?
Yeah, I thought it was cool. It had a fun kind of, classic rock kind of vibe. So it's tying into what you're talking about. So that always is good. I also appreciate, as a poetic thing, something that you don't see enough of probably in songwriting. You did a lot of alliteration, especially at the beginning of the song. So any way to connect your words where you're, aside from rhyme, I think can be cool. So just the first couple lines, Whitchurch Warriors, Wednesday afternoons, you got all that W sound. And then the line after that, Hungry Horse. After that, $5 and a 50 for a pint. So, and then even if you look at your, the chorus, you got every line almost starting with a B. So you got that repetition of sound. You're doing this thing that's not a rhyme, but it is a way to engage people with what your words sound like, which is a less thought of thing that I think is a cool approach. So I like that.
Yeah, I actually didn't even notice that when I first listened to this song. I didn't look closely enough, but you're right. So that's what we call alliteration, where you're using the first letter of each word is the same, all these W's, and then all these H's, and then you've got all these F's. And alliteration is a really cool technique to use. I use it a lot. You can also think about, rather than just the first line, the first syllable being the same for every line or every subsequent words, you can think of something in the middle, like a common consonant or vowel that keeps occurring to create your sound texture for your lyrics. So yeah, I like this too. But you know what your title really is? It's not Wichita Warriors. It's Because They Rock. Even if you don't want it to be.
Yeah.
That's what everybody's going to know your song as. This is your new title. Because it's repeated so much, and it's in the chorus over and over again, twice in each chorus. So I would change the title to that. It's going to be really hard for people to remember Wichita Warriors, even though, or which am I saying that right? Whitchurch Warriors?
I don't know.
I'm sorry if I'm sorry if I'm screwing this up, but which could be another thing that may be a hard word for people to pronounce. They might mispronounce it on first, on looking at it if they don't hear it on the first line.
Kind of goes to your point though, because if it was the title, we would have heard it a bunch. If it was, the title, we would have heard it a bunch more times, and we would know what it would, how it's pronounced. But it just kind of flew by in the first line.
Somebody else mentioned, Mike said, maybe just call it They Rock. That's another option.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, because I tend to be of the school of thought that the longer line is better. Like a lot of times I notice songwriters, they'll do something like that, They Rock, when it's just it's a part of the longer line. And you see that a lot, especially with hit songs and stuff. And it's certainly an approach that people use. I tend to like the longer line because I think it makes it more likely that it's unique to you. And it tends to make it more about what the song is all about. In this case, we're just talking about one extra word. I'm sort of speaking, in general here. I usually like to go with the little bit longer phrase because it tends to be more descriptive, and it makes it less likely that somebody else has used that title.
Yeah, that's true. But you know what you could do either way with whichever one you go with. You could, if you wanted to emphasize it, let me fix this thing up. Just add an extra measure or two at the end of your chorus and just type in and sing They Rock. It might just be that little thing that strengthens your chorus just a little bit more. Married to the guitar longer than married to the wife. They rock. Something like that could help. And then you can call it either Because They Rock or They Rock. But calling it what you called it, it's going to end up hurting you in a little bit. I remember in the 90s it was really popular for rock bands to use titles that had nothing to do with any of the lyrics in the song. And my concern was in 10 years from now, their songs are going to be forgotten because they're going to be so hard to find, the songs that people like, what the names of the songs were. It's
Worked for Smells Like Teen Spirit though, so.
It did. It worked for a few of them.
Yeah.
But maybe that's where, that's where that trend took off because Nirvana was so popular at that time.
Yeah.
Whereas other people try to do this similar thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw a lot of bands where it didn't seem like it was helping them at all, having a title that had nothing to do with the lyrics of the song.
Yeah.
Let me see. Did I have anything else to say on this? With any of these songs, we could literally talk for an hour about these songs, about just one of them, because there's so many things you can dig into when you're analyzing a song and figuring out what can you edit with it, what can you do to make it better, how can you change it in different ways. But that was there's only one other thing I was thinking. You could actually bring the chorus up in pitch a little bit, bring it up a third. You may have to change chords to do it, or maybe not. It could be like singing a harmony line and make that harmony line become the melody. That could help to make the chorus stand out a little more. It is a catchy chorus the way it is, but you might want to try bringing it up in pitch. And then try putting in a bridge or a solo to break it up. We've got a verse, a chorus, a verse, a chorus, a verse, a chorus. So there's a reason why after you repeat something twice that people often put in something different to break it up. It's because your mind is looking for patterns. Our brain does this all the time. When we hear a verse and a chorus and then we hear it repeat it, we don't have to pay attention anymore because our brain has already recognized the pattern. This is kind of subconscious, but it happens. That's why putting something in different after something happens twice is really helpful. And then coming back to your verse chorus again, then it's fresh again. So right here after the second chorus, is a great place to put in a bridge, a solo, a breakdown section, a rap section, an interlude, instrumental interlude, anything like that. Putting right there could be really, really helpful. It'll extend the song a little bit, but then you can ask yourself, if I do that, do I need a third verse? A lot of songs are defaulting these days to eliminating the third verse that used to be so common in music from 70s and 80s.
We've got Tim with us now too. Tim, if you could turn on your audio and video, you there?
I'm here. Hang on.
It should be right to the left of the microphone icon. A little like circle looking thing. There you are. How's it going?
Hey, Tim.
I think you muted yourself. We can't hear you.
Yeah, you have two icons there.
Oh, yeah, okay.
There you go. Okay. So, Tim, we only have a minute or so. Did you hear what we said about your song?
Yeah, and I think it was very, very good advice. I especially like the idea of just adding a little they rock, right? Mm. And that's something that I could do without having to go back in and re-record the vocal. I could just, because I have the background singing there, and I think that might even be good enough on its own, and just to have the two background vocals they rock, right, at the end of it, right?
Yeah, you might be able to get away with it without adding any more measures to the song, but you might find it, like the way I did it, married to guitar, longer than married to life, they rock. They might push you too close into the next verse where so you may need that extra measure if you do it the way that I counted it. But you might be able to bring it in sooner. That's just the way it seemed really obvious to me would be catchy.
Otherwise, I really thank you for all the good things that you said about the song, and it gives me a lot of encouragement, and I appreciate that.
Good,
awesome.
Good. Well, thanks for coming. We're going to move on now. Try some of those ideas, Tim.
I will. Thank you.
Thanks,
right,
Tim.
Good song. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
All right, so moving ahead, we've got
Sasha Fielder.
Yeah, Sasha, I believe that's how you pronounce your name. I'm not positive.
And if you are here, just raise your hand and we'll bring you in once we're ready to talk about it.
There was this real sense of it being hell on earth.
One November morning, the faulty power line came down. The fire grew so quickly, I noticed downtown. Strong winds they pushed and fed it, a thick smoke blocked out the sun. We did 80 football fields a minute, unstoppable on its run. The air too thick and the winds too strong to center from above. You have to go, you have to run, this fire has no love. You have to go, you have to run, this fire has no love. The fire front blazing through your town, burns every house, burns it down, 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 down. You have no chance if you don't run. Paradise is lost, paradise burns down. You can't stay, fires all around. Paradise is lost, paradise burns down. Paradise is going down. Paradise is lost, paradise burns down. Firestorm of embers, driven by the wind. Consumed the family houses, raged through just like blind. All roads out of paradise filled up, everyone was stuck. Crackling fires surrounding, turned escaping at the track. A roadblock, a grip block, death trap. Oh no, a roadblock, a grip block, the death trap. Took just 4 hours, and by noon paradise was down. Just 4 hours, and by noon paradise was gone. Someone's dream drifts as ashes with the wind. But at one point it'll turn from hell back to sky again. Someone's dream floats as ashes with the wind. But at one point it'll turn from hell back to sky, blue sky again. Burns every house, burns it down, 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 down. You have no chance if you don't run. Paradise is lost, paradise burns down. You can't stay, fires all around. Paradise is lost, paradise burns down. Paradise is going down.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you might want to speak just a little bit louder, but I can hear you.
Okay.
Actually, it was me. My volume was turned down. Sorry. Okay, good.
Okay.
So
anything you want us to know about this song now that we've listened?
So it was quite touchy 2 years ago when it happened, actually, in Paradise, which is not, regarding the current situation with all the fires. So at this point in time, it was like indeed raining ashes, and I was thinking, wow, this could be someone's dream, how is everything floating here in the air? And I thought, I have to do or want to do a song about this. And it just recently then really I got pushed to finish it, actually. Or it's even not finished yet, I think it's still in progress, but to be pushing to work on it more. And with all the fires around. And I've seen a reportage about what happened in Paradise there, which was quite shocking, and I was very touched. And
Are you
That's
from
why.
that area? Do you live up there?
We are in Vacaville, so it's between the San Francisco and Sacramento. And 2 weeks ago, we had been evacuated as well. So
Okay. Yeah, I know somebody who lived in Paradise, and she told me about she almost got caught in the fire. It was pretty bad.
they're still recovering now, so it's crazy.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your song. You got a lot of good ideas here. I'm glad you wrote a story about this. This is probably something that was needed. Very descriptive story, great melodic ideas and lyric phrases. A couple things I thought that you could use was a little bit of clarity with some of the sections. Like your verse is a little bit long, and it seems like around here, that's almost like starting to become a pre-chorus. I wasn't sure if it was there or maybe, there or maybe here. That seems like it might be turning into another section, like a pre-chorus. But then in the next section, like where you do this thing that's repeated, you have to go, you have to run, you have to. You do that at the last two lines, but then in your next verse, you've got something repeated, but it's not the last two lines. It's the lines that are, second to last. A roadblock, a grip lock, a death trap, a roadblock. So that's cool what you have here. But I think because you're changing the placement of where it is from verse to verse, it could be a little confusing. You might want to just do something like this, where you took out I'm going to just delete this for a second. You took out the last two lines of this verse, and you made this a pre-chorus, right? So this is now a pre-chorus. And then with the verse before that, it would be these lines you take out. No, sorry, these lines, the second to last two, and you make this a pre-chorus. And then you have these repeated sections. You could do something catchy with it, with the last part of your verses. Were you trying to make this a pre-chorus, or was it considered part of the verse?
I actually cannot see what you are changing right now. I just see you in the background.
Are you not seeing the lyric sheet?
No. I'm having you full screen and then the three little ones under.
He has the part that says, you have to go, you have to run, this fire has no love, repeated twice as the pre-chorus.
Yeah.
And then, is everybody else seeing the lyric sheet okay? Just want to double check on that.
It's probably because we brought him into the presentation area.
It's possible, yeah. And so, Marco says, "The Fire Has No Love" is a great title. Yeah, so people can see the lyrics. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm looking at the lines of your verse that you have to go, you have to run, this fire has no love. And you repeat that, right?
Yes.
Was that considered part of the verse, or do you consider that like a pre-chorus?
That should be like a pre-chorus intentionally, yeah.
Okay, well, good. So there was no separation between that and the verse with the lyrics you sent me, so I couldn't tell whether you wanted it to be a different section or not.
I wanted actually to have the bass a bit going faster, the bass line, so it's a bit more getting a bit faster at this section.
Okay, well, I think the problem that you're running into is you got these great lines that are repeated, but then you had all these other words around it. So I would simplify your pre-chorus where I would just take those two lines. You have to go, you have to run, this fire has no love. You have to go, you have to run, this fire has no love. That's it. And get rid of, I forget what I deleted now, but then with the second verse, I took your other repeated lines, a roadblock, a grip lock, a death trap, oh no, a roadblock, a grip lock, a death trap, and that just leave that as your pre-chorus rather than what you had, which I will undo what I just changed so that other people can see the way it was. So for the first verse, I'll separate it because you said it was meant to be another section. The first verse, you had a bunch of extra lines at the end. It took just 2 hours, and by noon Paradise was down, etc. That's stuff you don't need in a pre-chorus because that's stuff that should be in the verses. And then in your second verse, where you've got at the end, it took that is the second verse. Sorry. The first verse, where you've got this air is too thick, the wind's too strong, send help from above. Get rid of that, or put it in the verse somewhere, because it's just crowding your pre-chorus. Your pre-chorus can't stand out with all those extra words around it. I know you can't see the lyric sheet, so you might not be able to understand what I mean. But if you watch the replay of this, I'll bold this for everybody else to see, and so that would be your new pre-chorus. It's really just the same as the one you have. I'm just removing it from the lines around it, and then you'd have all these extra lines. So it's a little bit wordy. Any comments, Anthony?
Yeah, just similarly, I as far as those sections go, I was wondering about a similar kind of thing, because to me, when it went from the into the chorus, the only way I knew that was happening was the line that led into it was happening in the music. There was a change there that kind of like built up a little bit, but then the chorus part felt similar to what was happening before that. But I think if you do what you're talking about here, Kevin, I think that could help alleviate that.
Yeah, and you've got a similar issue of wordiness with the chorus, because your chorus is this: a fire front blazes through your town. That's the beginning of the chorus, right?
That's right.
Okay, so just looking at this is way too many words for a chorus. As we mentioned earlier, a chorus has to be something that everybody can sing along with easily. Here's your chorus. You got the hooks here. They're just crowded by other words. Paradise is lost. Paradise is lost. That's your hook. Get something else in there with it, possibly. Something short. Paradise is lost. Burns every house. Paradise is lost. Even a mouse. I know that sounds ridiculous, but my point is, your chorus is something simple like this. That's something everybody can sing along with. But don't take my rhymes. Pick your own. But you can't. What do you got? You can't stay fire all around. So just take fire all around, right? Paradise is lost. Fire all around, and then something to rhyme with around. Burning down the town. Really simplify your chorus. The point of the chorus is everybody has to be able to sing along with you. That's what a chorus's job is.
Okay.
And so that would help. Watch the replay and you'll see what I've been doing with the lyric sheet.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But aside from that, you got great ideas. Your issue is that you're crowding in your great ideas with extra words that are making it hard for people to see and hear your great ideas.
Okay,
thank you. And I think when you do that kind of crowding too, that can make the sections sound similar, because you're trying to put so much stuff into each line, and then as a result, every line is doing that, verses and choruses. But like what Kevin's doing here, he's kind of chopping up the chorus so that it's much shorter. That in itself just creates a contrast that makes that chorus stand out.
I see.
Yeah. And if you got rid of these couple lines here, the way I've got it, I'll just show everybody else. If people look at this and don't even read the words, with the first three sections that I have in bold right now, they're going to say, well, that looks like a verse, a pre-chorus, and a chorus.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you don't even have to read it to know what type of section it is. Okay, so we got to move on. But thank you for sharing with us.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Anthony.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, so maybe we'll do. What do you think, Anthony? One more?
Sure. Yeah, we could do one more.
Yeah, we'd love to do we have three more, I think. We'd love to do them all, but it's just we're running out of time.
Yeah.
For everybody, we want to respect your time, and the next one we have is Mike Johnson. It's called The Sand.
If Mike's here, you can put your hand up. We'll let you in when it's time to talk about it.
Yeah, maybe we'll do another one of these where we can get the rest of the song submissions.
to distract us again. The deals that they push aren't out of the land. Bad laws they want to force on us all. They won't even build a wall. Drugs on the border, illegal they come. Make a mockery, look what we become. The children they steal for the access they seek. Make this world look oh so bleak. Now we must draw a line in the sand. Now is the time to make our stand. Time to make back our land. Draw a line in the sand. Cartel became the terrorist pride. Kill little babies at their mother's side. Their leader says hug will make them subside. A bullet to the head will make them decide. War at the border is what has come down. Blow them all to hell from where they come. Until we hear that trumpet sound. Make sure they hear us, make it loud. This time we make our stand. The time to take back our land. Now we must all understand. Draw a line in the sand. Draw a line in the sand. Draw a line in the sand.
Video camera, there's an icon to turn on your camera, and your audio as well. You have to click it. Yeah, there you go. Good.
Okay.
So the first thing that we should mention is, us being in kind of a politically divided country right now. It is a political time, so
Very.
let's not worry about that. If you're on one side of the politics or the other, let's just look at the song.
Okay.
The techniques used in the song, and that aspect of it. The songwriting process.
Mhm.
So, what do you think, Anthony? Have any comments?
Yeah, one thing that I noticed, actually a couple things. The first thing I think that, so you have the title. What do you got, a rooster?
You have a rooster down there?
We got two of them
Oh,
Where are you?
in the Philippines.
Oh, the Philippines. I was wondering why it's this time of night.
right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's 10 o'clock in the morning.
You got to work that into a song, I think. Record the rooster.
I got another one called The Mango Tree.
Only on our webinars do we get roosters.
Rooster.
He wants to sing along. Yeah, but this goes along with something I mentioned earlier about the title being longer. So you chose like the short version of the title, The Sand. That idea of drawing a line in the sand is actually a cool visual. And I think if you left that whole thing as a title, I think that works better for me because that's the actual line that we hear. and it's, you know, more visual. I think it draws more people in. So
Yeah. See, I've seen so many other titles with draw a line in the sand also, so that's why. And actually, I took a the out of the title too and put sand. Like on the video, it just says sand. So.
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so that's kind of like a litmus test for me. Like if I go to Google and I'm looking for other songs that may have a title, if I see a lot of other songs that have that title, I'll tend to want to rework it. Yeah. So just because, you know, then it's been done before, so how else can I say this? So that may be something to consider. Like, how else can you say the same thing but make it unique to you? You know,
right?
Instead of, because you're trying to kind of do the opposite. You said, well, I found a song with that title. Let's just strip all the other words out and just call it sand. But that's not really what your song is about. And instead, I would try and maybe make it, you know, more unique to you while saying the same thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you could have draw the line or draw the line in the sand or the sand, but I think draw the line is probably the stronger, more important thing than the sand. So getting the line in there somewhere. Now, even though I think Aerosmith had an album called Draw the Line.
Draw the Line, yeah.
Yeah, but maybe draw the line in the sand. You know, it might be good. So now we must draw the line in the sand. Stand. Let's draw the line in the sand. Yeah, so that could help. I had a couple of thoughts about this. Let me see. I had a note or two.
Yeah, I noticed too with where your guitar solo was. I think you went from the verse to the guitar solo, right? And then the chorus?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would get a chorus in there.
Yeah, I think that it's pretty typical if you're going to have that solo in there, or just pretty typical in general to go from the verse right to the chorus, unless you have a pre-chorus as the thing that's in between them.
Yeah, so here you got a solo, but and then an ending chorus. But yeah, getting a chorus in before the solo is gonna help a lot. Otherwise, you're not repeating the hook enough.
Right.
Yeah, so repeat the chorus.
Sometimes I just worry about making the song too long and drawn out, though. So I kind of hyphenate some of it a bit. I've done that before on other songs too, where I'll put a solo in there after a verse rather than a chorus. So, but good information.
Yeah, I think it's just expected to hear the chorus, especially when you hear that in the first verse and chorus. So you know that verse is rolling into the chorus, and then the second time around, you get to the end of the verse and you're expecting to hear that chorus again, which is the part of the song that people want to hear. And then instead you're going to instrumental break. It's like, what? Where was that thing I wanted to hear, you know? So, yeah, I think that's why you do that.
Okay.
Yeah, you're setting up expectations, you know, when you write a song. You're setting up patterns. And when you deviate from a pattern, it surprises people, which can be a good thing if you surprise them in the right place. If you surprise them in a place where the patterns haven't been complete, like if you don't repeat the chorus, you haven't created a pattern with it yet.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you repeat it a second time, then there's a pattern, and then you deviate from it and do something different. Then it's fine. But if you have a verse, chorus, then you can jump to anything else, and it feels like the music makes sense. But if you have for a more extreme example, what if you have a verse, a pre-chorus, a chorus, a bridge, a solo, a breakdown section? By that time, 6-7 different sections. People are like, the music doesn't make sense at all because it's just jumping from one section to another, and so it's really the patterns that are helpful. But with the chorus, I thought, you know what I really thought of with this song? I thought of the song "Rocking in the Free World" by Neil Young, where he has similar social critiques like you have about how America's having a lot of problems. And then his chorus, though, was like, he goes up in pitch, and he sings this line, "Keep on rocking in the free world." And he goes higher in pitch, and he sings this, and he sings it, I think 3 times, maybe 4. And that's his chorus. Now, I thought your chorus could simplify itself a little bit too. It doesn't have to be that extreme where it's just one phrase. But if you got rid of "now we must," and you just say "draw the line in the sand," like you do at the end, that could help. Now it's time to take our stand. You know, you might want to. I mean, that in itself would help a little bit. And then taking it up in pitch. You know, you could do something extreme like he does, where you got this rock chorus where it's just that, you know. But that might not. Sometimes that works. Sometimes it's a little too stark. You know, so
I mean, some kind of repetition there could make sense. I mean, with that line, it's sort of like it feels like it's very definitive. So a little more repetition could help, you know, reinforce that concept. So that could be interesting.
Cool.
Yeah, so thanks, Mike. Good songwriting, and I appreciate you coming out and sharing this with us.
Thank you very much.
And next song, we need a rooster solo. So
yeah. you gotta put that rooster in one of your songs, like
I think it's called "Good Morning" by the Beatles on the White Album.
Or like Brian Wilson did with Pet Sounds and the Beach Boys. I just watched this documentary called Love and Mercy. It's actually a movie about him. It's really interesting. But he did a lot. He had dogs barking and stuff. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the screen share. Okay, so thanks.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks.
And so we have something else to share with you. I'm glad you stayed around till the end, because we have some really cool stuff. We have something free we want to offer you, but before that, I want to share with you something that is going to help you as well. So just give me a minute here, and here we go. So for those of you who are interested in really developing your songs, I do have an option of working with me one-on-one, where we can spend a lot more time than these short critiques, where we can spend an hour on your song and really dive into many more techniques than we've been talking about here. And I have people I work with all over the world who I coach them with their songwriting, and it's a great thing to do if you're planning on recording an album. You want to have the songs taken to the next level and edit it really thoroughly before you do that. But it's also a great thing to do if you're a total beginner and you're really passionate about songwriting. You want to get good at it fast. This is the thing that helped me the most, was when I had mentors to work with. And I found that when I went to college for music, but I provide that to people who are, you don't have to apply to a music college to work with me. Like, often that's the only choice for a lot of the really high-end stuff. But here's at Songwriting Planet, I have coaching available. It's one-on-one with me. I usually use Skype, and I have a huge discount right now. So 6 one-hour sessions. I normally charge $300 an hour, but I dropped this down way cheaper. So it's 6 one-hour sessions. It's only $110 an hour, so it comes to $660. It'll save you a lot of money from the normal rates, which will be going back up again after this promotion that we're doing this week. Or if you just want to have one, it's normally $300. It's $150 for one session. And if you're interested, I know this is not for everybody. Not everybody has a budget for this, but for the people who really want to progress in their songs quickly, I do offer this, and I really enjoy working with songwriters, and often I can help them with their songs faster than I can help myself with my own, because I can be so objective looking at your songs and really help you take it to the next level fast. I'm going to give you the link here. You should see it pop up where you can sign up for this now. And I'm going to move on to the next slide here, where it talks about a bonus that I'm adding with this. So if you sign up for the 6-session package, I'm going to give you a free video course. This has got 10 one-hour videos all about crafting your songs. It's called Song Strategy Sessions. So absolutely free. It's normally $295, and I'm just giving it free for people who showed up for the webinar, because I really respect people who show up, or even if you just watch the replay, who actually take the time to do something to better themselves with their songwriting. And so this is an option that we have. Not many people know it's available because I don't offer it that much. You know, I can only work with so many people, so I limit it. But it's available right now this week. So if you want to sign up before it gets full, which it will after this training, and I'll have to put people on a waiting list and raise the price after this. So if you're interested in doing this type of work with me, one-on-one, click the link, sign up for this tonight, and it'll be great to work with you. But I'm going to move on now to something that we have that's actually free, where you don't need to spend any money. But just keep this in mind. This is the thing that helped me the absolute most, was when I had people directly one-on-one to help me craft my songs. And I learned so much about the technique and the craft of songwriting from that process. Here's something else we have, which Anthony's going to speak about.
Yeah, so we're doing a special through my site, Success for Your Songs, because you were on this webinar tonight. So we've got 3 parts that make this a special offer for you for being here tonight. So the first part of that is you get a free 17-day trial to our member site. This way you can check it out and make sure it's for you. We're also doing, as part of this workshop bonus, is you're going to get 5 free bonus songwriting ebooks, and you get to keep those even if you decide to cancel after your trial. So you can check those out. And then if you do stay on, we're going to give you reduced price access to the site, which is $17 a month, down from normal price, which is $27 a month. So just talk a little bit about some of the stuff that's in the site, especially since we did song critiques here today. So we do have a whole module on song critiques. So if you liked what you saw here in this workshop tonight, we've got dozens of them in our member site. This way you can learn what's working and what isn't in songs written by your peers, so that you can apply those own ideas to your own music. And you can even submit one of your own songs as a member to have me critique and put in the member site, and that's free as long as you're a member. So you have that opportunity as well. And like I said, if you found benefit in what we did here tonight, then there's plenty more of those in our membership site. And you can check that out for free for the 17 days. We also have a ton of songwriting interviews in the site. This way you can get multiple educated perspectives from writers with varying backgrounds. This way you get a well-rounded view of songwriting. I've got a couple of interviews with Kevin, and I've got just dozens with a lot of songwriting professionals, people who have written for hit artists, Berkeley professors, people with very varying backgrounds. Like I said, I want this to be something for you where you get that alternate perspective. And this is one of those things. I've learned a lot from these interviews just because I'm always hearing from different people, learning new things that I didn't consider before. So a lot of the stuff I'm using in my own music is just came out of these interviews because it's just a varied perspective that you're just not going to get from going to the same site all the time. You also get access to Songwriting Lessons. I've got a few different modules for the lessons. This way you get detailed advice on everything from song ideas all the way through completing the final details of your song. So there's 4 different modules just on songwriting. Starts off with song ideas, and then it takes you all the way through chord and melody writing, lyric writing, and then bringing your songs together, all the things that you need to actually finalize a song and put the pieces together and make a final product with your music. And in addition to that, your song is not really done once it's written because it has to be presented well. That's why I have a couple of modules on one on production and one on performance, because that's how you're presenting your song to the world to give it the best chance for success. This is, the polish, the shine. It could be the greatest written song ever, but if it's not presented well, people aren't going to stick around for it. So that's why we have a couple modules just on production and the presentation of your song, and all aspects of presenting and performance, anything that's going to actually take your song that's already written and have it delivered. So I want you to have an advantage in those areas as well, because that stuff matters, even though it's not technically writing. But that's why I've got a couple of modules about that also. Another thing that's really cool about the member site. So we've got tons of reference charts for chords and melodies, and that's just right in front of you. You can just open up the chord and melody page, and then that's your reference as you're writing. So and then the cool part about it is, if you're not sure how to use any of these charts, you can there's a lesson that references it and shows you exactly how to use it. So you go through that lesson, you learn how to use a chart. And then when you're writing, you just have all these charts open for you, and then any kind of keys or modes or anything like that that you need, is even a couple for lyric writing. You just keep that open, and it'll make it much more easier to come up with ideas and that kind of thing. So it's just a really helpful tool to have in front of you when you're writing. And then, like I said, just as part of this special offer that we're doing here tonight, there are 5 bonus ebooks that you're going to get for free for signing up tonight. 5 must-know methods for serious songwriters, which is kind of self-explanatory. Just a couple methods that'll just really help your songwriting. Music marketing for songwriters, since that's something that a lot of songwriters don't often consider, but it's important if you want to get your music out there. And then the next 2, 25 quick tips for writing better songs, volumes 1 and 2. So that's helpful if you need to generate a quick idea. Just look through, get some quick tips. It's really short kind of tips that'll help you out. And then if you're not sure how to what to do about copyrighting your music, there's also an ebook about that as well. I saw somebody in the chat ask if you're already a member, can you get access to these ebooks? And if you are already a member and you're on this webinar, I will give you access to those. So just send me an email and I'll send you the link for the ebooks. So that's cool. So just to wrap up the stuff that you're getting here, if all that stuff that I mentioned sounds interesting to you and you just want to check it out, like I said, as part of this webinar, we're doing a free 17-day trial, so you can make sure it's for you and check it out. Kevin, do you have a link that you can post for that?
Yeah, I just posted it. Let me actually put this in the chat window, but it should be in a pop-up right now where you see a link.
Oh, it says offers. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
And,
so part of the special that we're doing tonight again is those 5 free ebooks that I just mentioned that aren't normally part of the member site. And then if you do stay on past your trial, you're getting the reduced priced access, and that's for as long as you're continually a member. That'll never go up on you. So that's our special for you here tonight, because obviously songwriting is important to you. You took the time to hang out with us and see your song reviews and see the songs get reviewed. So I want to make more available to you if you're interested in continuing to improve and all that kind of stuff. So I think this will be helpful for you. And thanks for putting this on also, Kevin. I appreciate we're using your platform here and everything. I think this was a cool thing.
Yeah, sure. I mean, and I want to encourage everybody. Anthony put together a really lot of material on his. Last time I was in there, I was really impressed. Like a lot of material that's so helpful for songwriters, and it's free for a couple weeks. Check it out. Most people get so much out of it that, I mean, what's $17 a month? That's like the price of taking your girlfriend out to a fast food restaurant and having lunch. So a lot of people stay on for years with this because there's so much you can get out of it. But if you just want to check it out, also, it's absolutely free the first couple weeks. If you're serious about your songwriting, you will benefit so much from this. I keep telling Anthony he needs to raise this to $50 a month or something. It's just there's so much in there, and he spent so much time developing it. But here are the 2 links that we have for you. If you're interested in one-on-one songwriting coaching, you go to coaching.songwritingplanet.com. If you're interested in the Songwriting Success member site, you go to Songwriting Success Circle member site. You go to circle.songwritingplanet.com, and that's something everybody should do because it's free. And you should jump on that and then think about staying. After you check it out, I'm sure you'll want to stay on longer and use it on a regular basis to help you with your songwriting. And for the handful of you who are interested in one-on-one coaching, that's available too, to a limited degree, because I will have to close that pretty soon when I start getting people signing up for it. I can only take on so many that I can work on their songs with closely. So this has been great. Thanks everybody for sharing this time with us. And I'm really excited about the new songs we've heard and the ones that you're all writing right now. I'd love to hear more of them. Anything last words, Anthony?
No, just keep doing it. Keep writing and keep rewriting too. I mean, that's what's cool about this critique stuff, is that you can actually get some advice on what kind of edits should I make, because it's really just such an important part of writing. It's not just like, you write it and you're done. You could do that, but it can only get better if you just keep editing. So when you can get some feedback that you can use, I think that's really helpful. So just keep doing it, basically. Keep learning and doing, and then you can only keep getting better. So thanks for spending the time with us.
Yes, your songs will change the world. Keep writing them. The world needs better songs. That's why we do this, is because some of it was frustration about hearing some really bad songs being played on the radio that could have been much better if songwriters, took their, training, their music education more seriously. And that's what we're after, is creating a better culture for the world musically, a better musical atmosphere by getting your songs crafted to the best they can be. And your perspectives are perspectives that Anthony and I don't have. We have our own. So we need yours too. We can only write so many songs ourselves. We need your songs to be the best they can be and get them out there. And so that's our passion and why we do this. Okay, so I guess we'll call it a wrap.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thanks everybody. And we're going off the air. Click those links or write them down. Coaching.songwritingplanet.com and circle.songwritingplanet.com. Check out those sites right now. And we will be talking to everybody soon. Bye-bye.